Alrighty. It says I'm live. Hopefully everyone has gained their notifications. Um, and hello to Nancy and to Julie for being in chat. Thanks for being here, ladies. And if anybody would like to join me to talk about, their personal symbols and their meanings and how they relate to them, please let me know. I can always put, I believe still, the link in the chat. Um, for those watching on playback, something came up from Miss Allyson today, so she will be unable to join me. But I figured I still go on and talk about symbols. And when I started, looking up certain one, it was just like the internet just flooded me, and I didn't realize how many different images and um, pictographs and runes and all different things with symbols. So a show on symbolism is not going to be enough. And I know that Nancy and I will probably explore some divine feminine symbols in an upcoming show, maybe this coming Monday. Miss Nancy let me know. Um, she's been very busy lady this week with Scott visiting with Scott Scorpio and doing shows. And I love the pout, Nancy. That was so cute on the thumbnail that YouTube used of you going, hmm, that was that was cute. That was a cute little pout. And so we have Irene popping in. Hello, Irene, my dear. And again, let me just go and see if I can even still do this. Will they let me? If I do, yeah, they will let me do this still. Um, hey, Jax, what's going on, girl? So I am putting this into the chat. This is the link to tonight's show. And if anybody feels daring or just want to chill and hang out with me, even if it's just for a few minutes, feel free to click on that link and share some of your personal symbols and what they mean to you. And I hope everybody has had a good week. The weeks are just flying by. Summer's going, and whew, we hit about 103 today, this afternoon. So it got hot again, and it's going to be hot for a few more days. So I'm really looking forward to fall this year, most definitely. I had a lovely walk in downtown today in Ashland and got to go to the Artemisia Institute. And I met a wonderful young lady this week. Interesting story. Didn't go too much into detail. And hello, Irene. Hello, Isadora. Let me pull this up here. So I had met her earlier this week, and she is from Haiti. And she's lived here in Ashland for 20 years. Apparently, she was adopted, and her mother is the mayor of Ashland. And I'm looking for the pictures of her business here. It's called May Blossom Botanicals, and her name is Marie Geraldine. Oh, so it's not going to let me. So if I put it on the side, you can kind of see her right there. And yes, she is balancing a beautiful plate of herbs and flowers. And what's lovely about her is that she was adopted and brought to America. And from what I can understand, with what she was willing to share, she was adopted and she's been here for 20 years. Beautiful young Haitian woman working and creating her own line of botanicals. And I'm going to tap on this. Hello, Beth. Good to see you. And for those popping in, just one more time, something came up for Allyson today. She couldn't make it, so the link is in the chat if anyone would like to come on and share any of their personal symbols that they connect with, and or you can share that too in chat. So feel free to share in chat as well. There's absolutely no pressure. So let me see if I can maybe bring up and enlarge her picture. Maybe there we go. that is Miss Geraldine, Marie Geraldine. And so she has something called oxymel, and what her tinctures are is their food. They're they're a they're botanicals that you can digest. As far as I don't know if whether or not there is any um, alcohols or anything in there. But she has three that she's selling through the Artemisia Institute. They're not online yet, but I will show her or put in her link. But she has one called Get Sharp, which I tried and it was yummy. It doesn't give me the listing of the natural, but there's like marshmallow roots. It's all natural. It's safe. You just dip it into your mouth or under your tongue, and they're very what's the right? They're economically priced. They're reasonably priced. And I tried the Get Sharp one, which is brain support herbs that nourish the mind and support lasting focus and clarity. She has another one called Heart of Armor, and this is an herbal embrace for the heart. Sweet honey, tart fruit, and gentle heat to support a healthy circulation. And the Hawthorn Rose Hip Spiced Cordial for uplifting and joyful. Sip your way to warmth, hawthorn, rose hips, and spices wrapped in Haitian rum and honey. So I cannot wait till I can try some of these myself. And this is her business. Whoops. It's May Blossom Botanicals. And she is a oh, this did not take a picture clear, but she is a certified vitalist, herbalist, medicine maker, and educator. She can be found at mayblossom.botanicals at gmail.com, and as well as mayblossomsbotanicals.com. So wonderful young lady. I loved her energy. So she's just for the first time this week, set up shop in the store. And we also have Shay joining us. Hello, Shay. Good to see you, my dear. And so it has been quite the week. And I even got to buy, now the store supports local artists in the area. And I have been invited on by the store manager, not the owner, but the store manager, on a First Friday at some point to bring some artwork if I would like in for a First Friday walkthrough. So I'm excited about that. But they also have a local woman from Guatemala that makes headband, a couple of other like blankets or scarves, but she also makes hair bands. And I picked this up today for myself, $10. So it's nice to be able to support local women, local businesses, small shops, and yes, and everything in the store that I am aware of, in most places in here in town, a lot of them are pride themselves on fair trade and fair practices. So yeah, very exciting, including my art supply store that I love to go to for my paints. They're all nature-based and vegan and cruelty-free, which is amazing. And so, yeah, let's get to going and see what we got going on here in chat. And again, please feel free to share, what symbols are that you resonate. And if you're okay with sharing, please feel free to do so. And I guess I will start. Otherwise, for my week, I'm usually letting Allyson tell us her week first, and now I'm like, what's my week? So, enjoying earlier the cooler temperatures, doing some more. I'm going to start another painting this weekend. And we got to go to the park. And I didn't realize when I went to the park the other day with Sham, there was actually the new moon. And look who's here, Miss Taro D. Mwah. Hello, my dear. What's up? What's up, girl? And let's see, Shelby says, I have a symbol specific to me, and it's a waxing crescent moon with a dot off to the side. I used that in my signature when I sign on my finished artwork. I was born on a waxing crescent moon. That's beautiful, Shelby. And I'm assuming the little dot represents what I think maybe Venus or another planet. That's beautiful. I like that. And the moon has been used in so many different symbols for different religions and spiritual practices, including the horned god from Wiccan and pagan practices to the triple with the triple goddess symbol. I do believe that I think the Islamic faith uses um, a crescent moon as well. When I decided, hey, let's do symbols, I didn't realize, oh my goodness, how many there are. And I was getting smacked all over the place with them, and I'm not seeing that quite offhand here, but I do have a couple that I wanted to share that I thought people might be interested in. Here I'm just looking at the picture here, and we have, of course, the cross, and a lot too, also the swastika. And what a lot of people don't realize, that the swastika was actually a sacred symbol to the Tibetan people. And I used to work at a store. We had a large Buddha that had that on his belly, and people did not know that, myself included, and would come in and be angry. How could you be selling something that's got, a symbol of white supremacy? And we would have to explain to people that that was something that was hijacked by the Nazis. They took something that was a sacred, spiritual, and beautiful symbol and turned it into a symbol for, their hate. So a lot of history, behind, yes, exactly. Irene, Adolf stole it. And Beth says here, yes, the swastika is an old symbol that was co-opted. So that's a word I like, that co-opted. Um, the cross, there's different types of crosses too. And, the equal arm cross, the Christian cross, and the one that, people, media, TV shows, and everything, I still get wrong, of course, is the pentacle. And I know that I used to have one. Allyson tends to wear one for our show. That's one of her favorite. I think she says she never takes that off. But for me, the pentacle, people think automatically it's all, connected with, you know, satanic worship, and it's the sign of the devil and all that good stuff. Well, not so good stuff, but you know what I mean. And this is, again, anything that I talk about is all, from my perspective, my from what I've learned and my understanding. But so the pentacle represents each of the directions, and the middle being spirit. So, and of course, it's on our, tarot cards as well. You have the pentagram, which is the 5-pointed star, but then I believe when you put the circle around it, that encases the spirituality, includes spirit, and becomes the pentacle. So I can always, pull that up as well. But Miss Tarot D is sharing something. And the symbols that mean the most to me are the ones for the bathroom. Oh, I was waiting for it. I was wondering when it was going to start coming, Miss Tarot D. Oh, did I just open the door? saying that word. But yes, sometimes those are some of the most very important symbols, is where is the bathroom? And Isadora says it's a 12,000-year-old symbol, swastika. Yes. And I just got a email from Jacqueline, and she says, my and favorite symbol. This is the symbol for unconditional love. So I'm going, I don't know if I'm going to be able to show that. There we go. So thank you for sharing that, my dear. That is lovely. And we have the Ankh. We have the Visca Pisces, the Viscus Pisces, which became very important to me when I was connecting with Morgan Le Fay and the Isle of Avalon back in my 30s. So, but for the pentacle, that's always been the representation of, the elements and bring them together into spirit. Um, the Ankh, let's see. Well, actually, let me just catch up with chat here first. I know, Shelby, isn't that pretty? Um, I have to look in my van. Okay, so how did the pentacle come to be? Was it before Christianity? You know what? That is a good question. So let's find out. Well, we'll get that. Actually, no, let's do that. So let me type in here history. And as a former practicing Wiccan, and which you think I would know the exact history, um, history of, well, anything that was a sacred symbol in the past was, once Christianity and the main patriarchal phase took over, it was all turned inside out and told to be, evil and demonic and, you know, a lot of fear, fear based into that. History of the Pentacle. Actually, that would be a great show to do. Let's see. So, Shelby, this is what I'm getting so far. The pentacle is a symbol that has been around for thousands of years. It has been traced back to Mesopotamia in 3500 BC, where it was used by the Sumerians and the Babylonians. The Hebrews used the pentagram as a symbol of truth and to represent the Pentateuch, the Pentateuch or Tuk, the first 5 books of the Hebrew scriptures. The pentagram was known to the ancient Greeks with a depiction on a vase possibly dating back to the 7th century BCE. Pythagoreanism originated in the 6th century and used the pentagram as a symbol of mutual recognition of well-being and to recognize good deeds and charity. So now it's looking like to me that a lot of the pentacle that we are aware of have been come really through the Rider-Waite-Smith deck. I'm getting all sorts of different so let me, because we know that Gerald Gardner was the one that created, took from different spiritual beliefs that he was aware of, that he had learned, that was written down, and then took, from who he learned with for being part of, with the I want to say that the Golden Dawn, and then kind of created his own religion, the Wicca. I mean, this is really extensive history on the pentacle, but let me just back up a little bit. Good question. That's quite all right. I got it under control right here. So let's see. Mythologian. Let's see what they have to say. So it's a very long one, so I'll see. And oh, what a beautiful little picture. I don't know if y'all will be able to see that. I like that. It's hard when you got the white background. So, okay, so they're saying the same thing. The earliest documents that depict the pentacle symbol are the Heptameron, the Heptameron and the Key of Solomon. Heptameron is a French collection of 72 short stories that mention the pentacle in one place. On the other hand, the 15th century grimoire called the Key of Solomon shows dozens of pentacles throughout the text. The pentacle symbol has been around since the Stone Age. It is amongst the few ancient symbols that are still highly popular today. Over the course of history, it has been used in religion, art, architecture, fashion, and more. However, the meaning and interpretation of the symbol vary significantly. So, some groups associate with divinity, whereas others believe that it represents evil spirits and dark forces because it is the symbol of choice for witchcraft and magic. To further add to the confusion, there's a misunderstanding between the pentacle and the pentagram. symbols and whether they represent different things or are one of the same instead. So, well, here we go. I don't know if everybody wants me to focus on this, um, but they give quite the, let's see, making sure I'm not missing anything. And really quick, Jacqueline says, I have an affinity for rune stones, specifically Nordic style symbols, but also Asian characters resonate too. The words are all symbols, really. My mom's parents never taught them how to read Chinese. All right. So, Moon Fox says, turn inside out or wiped out to tell that. Wait a minute. Turn inside out or wiped out, tell that to the history of the Vikings. Let's see. And Ms. Carol D says, I've been learning to make my own sigils these past couple of weeks. It's fun and frustrating at the same time. And Ms. Tarot D, I love this talisman oracle. It's very cool. They give you a talisman and paper that you can copy on if you want to use that for spell work or for your altar. And let's see, Shelby says, because it is associated, I just got a bug in my tea. Because it was associated with Wiccan, I wasn't sure if it was from Remy, the religion. Well, that's going to be that could be a whole discussion. If people are interested in, because I'm relearning, I'm reestablishing myself. I'm looking back at old books, books that came out in my 20s when I first started to learn, because I've noticed as time has progressed that, from when I started learning, that was before really internet, social media, and just the amount of information that is just all over the place. So, and with commercialism and with it becoming commercially viable, you have your movies, your TV shows, people pushing for books, and some authors and publishers wanting to, well, this is a hotcake seller, so let's just keep So for me, when I do that, I should finish my thought, but it's really popping out a lot of like intro books, Wicca books, this and that. So for me, a lot of it has kind of become more commercialized, where when I was younger, it was starting to become more mainstream. So just dipping my toes back into it. But for the short part, let's looking at the pentacle versus a pentagram. A pentagram is a 5-pointed figure that looks pretty much like how a child would draw a star. It's made by extending lines from the corners of a regular pentagon until they intersect each other at 5 different points. The pentacle, on the other hand, is a star-shaped figure with a circle drawn around its edges. Certain semioticians claim that both symbols are exactly the same, except that the pentagram is a 2D figure, whereas the pentacle is a 3D shape. Very interesting. Some say that the main distinguishing factor between the pentacle and the pentagram is that a pentagram points upward, whereas a pentacle points downwards, which is not entirely true. The pentacle point goes up and the pentacle point goes down. Now, depending on your spiritual practice, and this is where I'm going to be very specific in what I say. Hello, Garnet, my dear. In my early learning, the pentacle pointing up represented people working with the lighter aspect of Wicca, of witchcraft, of magic, while the upside down was denoted and also not entertained, but fed to public, that represented the lower worlds, the dark, the devil, the evil, so on and so forth, which I'm now learning that there's a little grain of truth in each one, but really having to sit back and really read and do the research. And I believe the type of pentacle that the true Church of Satan uses is a lot different than the regular pentagram and pentacle. So I'm trying to see where So the pentacle has also been a symbol that's been revered by almost all ancient civilizations, be it the Greeks, Egyptians, Chinese, Indians, Babylonians, and even Mayans. It holds different layers of symbolism, probably because of the different cultures. So, according to this article, um, it says the five corners of the pentacle symbols are said to represent the five senses: sight, sound, smell, touch, and taste. Um, and in early Christianity, the pentagon was used to denote the wounds sustained by Christ on the cross. In Taoism, a Chinese philosophical approach to life, the 5 points of the pentacle symbol stand for the five elements of the East. These are wood, water, fire, earth, and metal. So it's going to be different. So this is a very intensive. So here we come to the Wiccan, and I think, Shelby, this is what you're interested in. While others might continue debating over whether the pentacle symbol should be displayed on furniture and fashion accessories or not, followers of the Wiccan religion, according to this article, this is the article that I'm reading, um, followers of the Wiccan religion are not hesitant to use it on various everyday items. They are proud to associate themselves with the pentacle symbol and everything that it stands for. And this article really, I should just denote that not all are going to agree. There's going to be those who have personal feelings and may, have their own viewpoints. So while they're saying here followers of the Wiccan religion, doesn't necessarily mean that all are going to have the same belief. So for the Wicca people, the pentacle is a symbol of their faith, pretty much the same way the cross represents Christianity. The crescent represents Islam, and the Om symbol represents Hinduism. So again, for the Wiccan religion, water, air, fire, earth, and spirit. The circle around the star-shaped figure symbolizes the universe, which not only contains but also connects them all together. So this is going to be more in depth, and of course they start going into shows and things and stuff and whatnot. So a lot of work. So let's see here. Thank you everybody for popping in. Christina, good day, my dear. I hope you're having was it a beautiful morning? I think it's around morning for you. Saturday in Australia. Let's see. Nancy, my darling, you've made my night. Me too, Garnet. That makes me happy too. That makes Nancy happy. Oh, I've missed that, Garnet. Heather blooming among the wild mountain thyme. Hello, Lassie. Oh, I've missed you, Garnet. I really have. Stars are pretty simple too, and of course, you have the star Venus. There's just so many overlapping, like the star of Ishtar as well. And the Eye of Horus. Yes, Nancy. And let's see. Lately, I've been thinking of possibly getting a tattoo, and I would like to have one on my back. Excuse me, my dear. What I want is a sword, the crescent moon, and a combo of fairy and angel wings. Wow. If you ever do have that done, Shelby, feel free to email. I would love to see that. And okay, Miss Tarot D, learning about sigils. Yes, that's a show, Miss Tarot D. That might be an interesting show that you might want to join me for in the future. Talking about your experiences learning sigils. And I have, my Talisman Oracle, which I'm going to start looking at their sigils and see how I feel working with them. And yes, Wiccan is new compared to most. Yes, so Wicca is more of a neo-pagan, and of course, so I'm going to recommend a book, Drawing Down the Moon by Margot Adler. Now, this book was written back in 87, or early 80s with a reprint in 87. So a lot of what she has written, she is very comprehensive. Over certain years, she's spoken to different types of covens, different sanctuaries, different people in practice, because the beauty of paganism. Wicca is that um, not everybody's path is the same one, and we don't have to believe in the same thing. So some people might have a stronger feeling about one sort of subject or topic, while the other will have their own. So, um, and she discusses how certain groups may disagree. It's just a very well-rounded set of interviews and explanations about the different faiths and the beginning of that. But Shelby, seeing that you've brought this up, that is something I have been wanting to do. Wasn't sure if I wanted to start talking about Wicca as I'm relearning it, but I think that might be a very interesting show to be able to do. It seems like that's where this kind of conversation is going, and I really appreciate that. It's a sign for me. And yes, Gerald Gardner took bits and pieces from. I mean, he claimed he had, the Book of Shadows of a famous hereditary, which some of it, that's still kind of whether or not this is true. And you know, even back then too, this man as my teacher who taught me about, paganism and Wicca. She said he had his kink. So you will see books and stuff with, you know, um, hearing about sexual rites and acts and things during rituals, which not everybody does. Again, this is all based on, each individual coven or group that get together to practice. Um, let's see, symbolism is a tool to open the third eye, yes, and to connect to spirit. I also love the symbols for the elements. Me too. So let me, Heather, I'm always scared of, don't be afraid. That's one of the things that, for me, the fear, Shelby, that came from me with wearing it was the fear of other people's ignorance. I knew what that represented, but I was still afraid to wear it because I didn't want to kind of single myself out. For me, for one, I'm not very good at confrontation. So if someone were to come up to me and start, I'd be like, you know. So that those symbols I kept privately, for journals and workings and things. But I still may end up getting one at some point. It's like, damn, I'm in my 50s. I really shouldn't give a shit what other people think anymore. Um, let's see. Oh, wait a minute. These guys ruined the entire apartment. I did the work. Oh my, I completely lost that conversation. So I can't go up too much further. So I'm to catch up with that. So I'm so sorry to hear that, Irene. Um, Garnet is sharing there is only the straight line and the circular. Let's see. It's really something. It's real something how diverse it can be and what it means to different people. Exactly. And Christina says it's a lovely day after the week of rain. So you've had rain. That's good because this world's been on fire lately, all over the place. Um, Julie, I have a Celtic knot of the Trinity filled with chakra colors. Has some hoopla and dots symbolic of music and flowing. Oh, that sounds beautiful. I love that everyone's sharing. I try to, envision it. And you said you have to draw it out first. You were needles. Yes, that's a permanent commitment. So yeah, I recommend that. Let's see, it's a good book. Drawing down the moon. Yes. Let's see. Irene says the only symbol I use is the one on my avatar. Okay. It's the Tibetan letter Bam, symbolizing Vara Ogini. I hope I got that somewhat right. Um, so Garner says, isn't there a saying in the Bible that says, in the midst of Zion? See, Garnet, I completely leave Christianity behind. For me, that was a certain period of my life, and I was able to kind of. I'm grateful that I was able to learn Wicca early early on enough to be able to leave that um, religion and spirituality behind. I have a few things that I still find beautiful, but you will not find me reading anything in or on the Bible. It's just not where I am right now, or feel comfortable. I mean, people can feel comfortable sharing. I don't mind sharing, and what you like to share. But for me, it's something that I just I just shudder from. Yours looks light language, not mine. But I had a vision of fire ink on parchment paper. Oh, so we must be still talking about the symbols. And Garnet says, I did have an old book, the Tibet Book of the Dead. I have heard about that, and I know there's an Egyptian one too. And Nancy says, I have a huge book titled The Illustrated Signs and Symbols Source Book, over 1,000 designs. Nancy, that will be perfect for coming shows. So, moving on from the Pentacle, other things that I've always resonated with, and of course, what I'm wearing here. I made this a few years back when I made jewelry, and the beads are a pearl, a red, and a black to represent Maiden Mother Crone, and it's a Triskelion, and it has spirals along with the Trequatra, of course, which represents for me, that represents different things for people: Maiden Mother Crone, mind, body, spirit, Son, Father, Holy Spirit. So a lot of symbols will have, different meanings to different um, spiritual beliefs and religions. And like I showed earlier, this one here, the Pisces. Here, so I tried to pronounce things properly. Um, Let me pull up this page. It is called the Vesica Piscis, and it's the shape of between two overlapping circles. It is a symbol used both by the goddess in Glastonbury for the sacred goddess well, and by the Christians for their Christian fish that it's a part of. And it says here, when the circles of equal diameters overlap, with the edge of one circle touching the exact center of the other, the almond-shaped formed in between is known as the Vesica Piscis, and it's also a symbol for the goddess for the female vagina, the vulva. Vesicus Piscis is Latin for fish bladder, and comes from the shape's resemblance to a fish's swim bladder. It's also sometimes called a mandorla, Italian for almond. So, this is also associated with the divine feminine, the vagina here, womb of the universe. It's also sometimes associated with the Roman goddess of love, beauty, sex, and fertility, Venus, or the Greek Aphrodite. And it's also the symbol of the Sheila Nagig, a Christian and pagan fertility figure depicted in European carvings throughout the 12th to 17th centuries. So, just a little bit basics on that, and something I wanted to share. And hello, Kristen Louise. Hello, how are you doing, my dear? Um, I've always loved the spirals. And you can see, I was trying to find some pictures on some of my cards. When I did my Reiki training in Arizona in my 30s, I had to pick a symbol. And the symbol that always resonated with me was the spiral, being able to go in and go back out again. There's different types of spirals. There's the sacred spiral, which I'm getting tomorrow by Starhawk. I'm so excited. And then you have like the Lambris that you can walk and meditate on. And you can find these in pagan groves, Christian churches. I think it's Hagia Sophia, one of those big churches that has that. It was also featured, I believe, in the movie The Da Vinci Code, as well. And, and I love Charmed. I know how over the top at points it was, but I still love Charm. And, the Triquatra was always, one of my favorites thereafter for a while. But it represents life, birth, and death. And I absolutely love this. This was a wood burning husband and wife that did this before they left New York. And I absolutely love this, even though I'm not very good at astrology. It gives the Celtic pagan Sabbats around the wheel. It gives you days, the dates for the zodiac. It tells you, in other words, Lunisad, also known as Lammas Eve. They give the triquetra within the circle, representing earth, mind, body, soul. And then you have earth, air, fire, water. So this is one of my favorites. I'm so happy I was able to find this from them, and I keep that on my little altar areas when I can. So I'm going to take a sip and see what everybody is sharing. Oh, Kristen, honey, how did you hurt your back, my dear? I am so sorry. And I just saw you Monday, girl. What you doing? No, no marathons. So going out doing the triathlon. Oh, well, we all hope that you feel better soon, my dear, and that you rest and take a good and take good care of yourself. Listen to those little kittens that are running you ragged there. So there's Nancy's comments. Let's see. But that's an interesting book, Nancy. And she said it is. It's fascinating. And then Kristen Louise, everyone, please pop in. Pop in. Please check out. It's been a long day, y'all. Check out Kristen Louise's channel. She also read with me on Monday for the Divine Feminine. Amazing reader. Kristen and I have gotten, wonderful comments about you being on with me and what an amazing reader you are. So want to make sure you heard that. And let's see. Yes, 2 overlapping circles is in the chalice. Well, Garnet, one of my dreams is to go there and walk the tour and get to the top and, honor Morgan Le Fay and the Fae and Lady of the Lake. Yeah. I love the idea of hedge mazes. As long as you know how to get out. And that's one of the images that's on the Lenormand cards is the hedge mazes. Let's see. Garnet says spiritual and physical worlds. Yes. Very pretty. That's exceptionally cool. Alrighty. Yeah. Settling down on my cat Bodhi. He's kind of fat. Well, so is Mozzie. Mozzie's actually lost, I think, a little bit of weight, but he's got a boot. I still call him my Buddha belly. So I totally get it. The great magician. We're all sending you healing and love. I love that. Thank you, everybody. Yes, Kristen's been very busy taking care of some foster kittens, or as Jonathan Van Ness like to call them, little bittens. And there's Kristen's channel. Thank you, Nancy. And Nancy, be sure to remember to put yours in there. So let me take a sip. And so another symbol that I found that's a main one. I mean, some of these can very well be talked about in more detail and more researched in the future, is any of these. So the Ankh, I don't have one. I still need to get one. I want to get another one again. The Ankh charm is both a culturally significant ancient Egyptian symbol representing life and a sought after immunity accessory. Oh, in the game Terror. Okay, now we're not talking about video games here. So the Ankh is an ancient hieroglyphic character symbolizing life and is often depicted being held by Egyptian deities as a symbol of eternal life. It represents protection, vitality, and spiritual power. The design typically consists of a cross with a loop at the top and has been widely adopted in various spiritual and fashion contexts. So they talk about the jewelry and making them into pendants. They don't give much more here because they're talking about the video gaming. So, but yeah, that can always be, I know it's a symbol that we've seen associated with Isis and Osiris and a lot of the Egyptian hieroglyphics and deities. So, meow, if you hear that, that's Mozzie. Oh, and Miss Tarot D is still here. Hello, my dear. So, if anybody else wants to share any of their symbols that they resonate with, I mean, there are so many. It's just, and we have our symbols too in the tarot. And I just recently bought this book, The Ultimate Guide to the Rider-Waite Tarot. And what's pretty cool, I don't know if I necessarily agree with all, but the author breaks down what they feel is the 10 most important symbols in each card and gives a description. So, what I thought tonight, if anybody wanted a card pull, I can go ahead and shuffle and see what card comes up. And we can take a look as the reading, also the symbols in that reading. They're involved in that card. So I thought this would be something fun to try. So if I can explain that again, taking my tarot, and I got the traditional one here. What I can do is I have them broken up into 3 piles for major arcana energy and court card energy and the minor. So if anybody, actually I can do a 3. If anybody, oh, I'm getting Mimi. So what I will do then is we'll look at the symbols broken down. I'll give, explanation of the card. We'll be learning from this book and see how that goes. And if this is popular and people like this, then I will do this again on a regular basis to be able to kind of learn about the different symbols in the tarot. And look who's been lurking. Hello, Stashmon. Everyone, Gerald. Did you have another symbol you were going to discuss? I might be able to pop on and add to a discussion. Well, let me put the link in here. I was done talking about the symbols from my end. I was going to start offering readings from describing the symbols that are individually on the card. So it's up to you, Gerald. Let me know. I don't know if you'd be interested in doing that type of reading, but if you want to come on for a few minutes, I can write down a list of names of people who wanted that type of reading. So let's see, what time am I at? I'm at 5:48. So yeah, Gerald, once you pop on, and we'll talk a bit more about symbols. And then if you want to go and I take over with, pulling the cards and discussing the symbols from here. Oh, so painting with fabrics. Okay, so it's just about, yes. But there's plenty of symbols and plenty of time for other shows. So let's connect on that because Gerald, before you go, Allyson and I are doing our show bi-weekly. Something came up today, so she couldn't make it tonight. So next week I have Selena, Essence of the Moon, joining me. And then, somebody just could not help himself.
Well, you don't just say, but you were talking about labyrinths. I love a good labyrinth.
Yeah, me too.
I love a good labyrinth.
Have you walked one?
I have. I walked Grace Cathedral Labyrinth in San Francisco. And really, really powerful because the whole idea of them is to take you out of yourself. And that's really what it was truly incredible, Heather.
And everybody, who's Gerald? For all my newcomers, this is Gerald. And his channel is Tarot Sash.
Hi.
He's been around for about as long. No, actually, I think we all started our channels around the same time. I think you had like maybe a year on top,
Yeah.
before me, but we've been around for a while.
We have. And labyrinths have been around for a while, because you were doing this.
Yes.
I had been driving and then I stopped and I'm looking, ooh, I need to look something up. And so may I spout off some facts?
Sure, because I'm going to write down names of people who wanted to be my little guinea pigs tonight for my new idea.
And by the way,
idea.
this is a great opportunity for everyone who is watching to like and subscribe to Heather's channel.
Thank you.
Show your support. When we're finished here, leave a comment after the show and share this. But
what he said.
Yeah. The
Checks in the mail.
The oldest example of a labyrinth is the Cretan labyrinth myth of the Minotaur in 1200 BCE. And but the labyrinths were also Neolithic petroglyphs.
Mm-hmm.
They were listed there. So it's really, really incredible. And the Chartres Cathedral, 1200 CE, is the one Grace Cathedral is modeled on. I had said that. It's a 42-foot wide labyrinth set in the cathedral floor. If you have an opportunity to walk a labyrinth, everybody who's watching, go do it.
Even if it's a small one, like I did, it's a powerful. I did 2 of them, one in Sedona and one here in New York. So yes. And the great thing about it is there are lots of many designs, and the whole idea, you're not going to get lost in a labyrinth, really, not in the ones that you walk. They are truly meant to take you outside of yourself, Heather. And then when you get to the center, because it's like a walking meditation. Yes.
So.
And the one that I got to go to at Sedona, the place wasn't really fully finished yet. But they had, they were like, yeah, come on the premises and, have a look around. And there was already a huge, labyrinth created there. And, with the stones and people putting flowers here and crystals, it was just like, it looked so cool. You start walking on it and you think, oh, I'm just going to walk really quick. But as you're doing it, you realize you slow down, your breathing slows down, and the forcing you to, really get centered. You got to keep your balance, and it helps you get grounded and focused. And immediately, for me at least, and being in Sedona with that energy, it was almost like an automatic, connection to spirit. You could sense,
love that.
Yeah, so it's going to be different for everybody, but for me at that one location. And then there was one that was in New York that was really tiny and was kind of like tripping over my feet a little bit. But even the small ones, they really force you to breathe slowly, take your steps, baby steps. And that, I think when they have ones like that, it forces you to really appreciate more what you are doing and being focused on the intent of what to help you manifest what your focus was. And you're thinking, oh, it's just get to the center. But when you get to the center, was it really just about, oh, I got to the center, how cool, or wow, what was waiting for me at the center that I wasn't expecting?
That's a beautiful description, Heather, of the experience.
And then you move out of it and you exit, and it's like, okay, at some point, I will guarantee. I really shouldn't guarantee, but for me personally, I will guarantee that if anybody does a labyrinth and they're not rushed and they take their time, you will have at least some sort of insight. You'll have some sort of inner vision, or you will have some sort of feeling that will lead you to an understanding of something that you didn't have before.
Yeah, I was so thrilled with the Grace Cathedral labyrinth. I walked it 3 times while I was there. I actually walked it on Halloween night because that's when I was there. And what's
totally
really
jealous.
Well, and I was walking it whilst I was knitting a pair of socks. I thought, oh, I can do that. but then it's like, oh, wait a minute, I can't really do that because it was taking me out of myself. I think, which is interesting, was doing some research, and spiritual interpretations of a labyrinth it's a spiritual journey.
Mm-hmm.
The winding path represents life's complexity, but always guiding toward a divine center. And you had mentioned once you get into the center, it's like, it's also a death and rebirth.
Yep.
And a wholeness and unity. So it's really, really great. And here's something that I find really interesting. They're associated with a lot of different religions.
Yes.
Christianity, medieval and modern. There's paganism and neo-paganism, indigenous traditions, Hinduism, Buddhism, mystery religions from Greek and Romans. I mean, it's really, really incredible. So,
yeah,
it's like,
and it's interesting that all these world religions or spiritualities or cultures, share that same symbol, because it shows how we are all connected on that divine spiritual level, that we all have that understanding of where we basically came from, that there's
yes.
a point of source, and we merge out from it, and then we return to it. And if you believe in reincarnation, you go back out again. So it shows just how intricately connecting. A lot of people say, well, I'm not the same as you, or my religion is better than you. That it just goes to show that we're all spiritually connected to that same source, where we see that symbol, and we have that internal understanding of what that means on a profound level.
And it's a very ancient symbol. So, because it's been around for a long time. And what's great is it's not occult, and it's not evil.
Nope.
And it's very different than a maze, because it's not about confusion. It's about finding clarity.
About enlightenment. Yep.
I mean, because it's one of those things, Heather. I remember when I was walking it the first time, I was like, oh, I'm glancing before I go. And I said, oh, I'm just going to go here, here, here. And I think after the second turn, I went, I have no idea where I'm going in this labyrinth. I'm going to have to put myself aside and just walk it. It's a really powerful experience.
Yeah. So. And Irene also had suggested during even a full moon. New moon. We just had a new moon as well, where we go into the earth, we go into the darkness, and then we come out, Yep. And catacombs. Yes, a lot of catacombs were designed that way too. Ancient Irish, locations, especially for, the solstices, where, the light comes right through into the catacombs and the burial mounds, and it hits as a reminder for people. This is where you come to connect with your ancestors, to remind you that we are not immortal, that life, there's no escaping death. And it's a reminder to not only acknowledge our ancestors, but they're there to remind us that life is short, and you make sure that you understand that and appreciate that, and learn that.
Yeah. And by the way, Tom, Early Witch Roll, just showed up and said a wild mustache has appeared.
Hey, Tom.
And oh no, what? Make it. Yeah. What darkness took over the channel? And I'm like, well, Tom, you showed up.
I don't know. I see right here, but yeah. So let's see here. Jack says, follow the left wall. Was okay. I had to jump ahead because of
because I mentioned Tom. I mean, because Tom is always worth jumping ahead for.
Actually, yes. I will have to say that little bro of mine sent me an amazing reading, and I love him for it. So
do you want to see
very much today?
Could you be distracted by colorful fabric for a moment?
Sure. I mean, Nancy said there was a labyrinth meditations, the HoloQuest this week. Oh, she's following the HoloQuest from Pamela Batchelor. And she says it was very moving. So yeah, meditation. Gotcha, girl. Wait a minute, the candy coated shell, like the peanut butter center. Yeah.
And how many licks does it get to the
Center of a lollipop. Yeah. A lot of people don't remember that. I do.
I do, and it's hilarious. I do. It's hilarious. Well, Jeffrey and I are picking out fabric, and he handed me this one because he needs 15 fat quarters. That's really pretty, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And then he has this one. Heather, I know you and I, we don't talk about color at all. We hate color.
Never, hardly. We should more often.
Yeah. We should just be willing to overcome that. But then there's this that Jeffrey also has.
See, now that is getting into like the fall colors, the autumn colors. Those are that's my jam right there. Yes. Yeah. And Chris and Louise said 3. It takes 3 licks. 1, 2, 3. Yep, 3. Exactly.
Yeah.
And mandalas. Yes, thank you, Isadora.
Oh, yeah.
Mandalas are also lambris, the symbols, the Navajo paintings that they do, the shamans or the medicine man, excuse me. They create these beautiful, healing mandalas. And then when you're done, they get wiped away. So I think that's done in other cultures as well. I think in Australia, I think the Aboriginal
Tibetan monks do it, yes.
And the Tibetan.
Isn't that an interesting thing when you think about the mandalas, that they spend all of this time and then they just wipe it away? Yeah. I think that's really interesting.
I would be heartbroken, but that shows you where you have to move past, that ego. Let's talk about having to get past your ego to do something, that. And Jax said origami paper is her jam. So. And what's this channel becoming milk toast? Keeping this channel. Tom.
By the way,
you're always welcome to join me.
Okay. Well, yeah, I will leave if Tom wants to come on. That's okay.
Oh, no.
I don't need to share the spotlight.
No, we're planning something very interesting. So stay tuned.
I have Tom and Maru on Sunday evening to talk about card interactions. So might be something. Ooh. It's like, but.
No, I can see the Luke Skywalker. No.
Well, I mean, there is also, if you are having trouble finding a labyrinth near you, I think there's a website called Labyrinth Finder, and it actually takes a list of all of the labyrinths around the world.
Oh, and Garnet says he actually has a sand painting by a Native American Indian.
Oh, very nice.
I can just imagine how beautiful that is, Garnet. And there was something too that Jax just shared. I fold my worries into paper airplanes and turn them into flying fucks to throw. Love it. Come on, Jax. One of these nights you gotta join me. I love your fire. I love that. I love your energy. I like your spirit. That's cool.
It is called labyrinthlocator.org.
Here, let me type that in there. Labyrinth. If I can remember how to spell Labyrinth.
Labyrinth.
Yep. Locator. Whoops. Here, let me just type it in this way. Locator. Yeah, it's separating them on me, but that's okay. Locator.org. There we go. Yeah. It didn't turn blue, but people can type that in, and I think there might actually, I haven't been there yet here in Ashland, but there is a priestess temple here, or sanctuary.
Oh, nice.
Well, temple, and I haven't been there yet. I haven't been quite felt like called to there yet, or I'm maybe not energetically ready to go there yet. But I think there might be one on there, and if there is, who's going to be walking that, especially with Salem coming up in a couple of months.
Tom is going to be walking it.
Who?
Tom.
No, me.
Oh, yes. Well, I have to say, Heather, and one of the things that may I heap praise in your general direction and make you uncomfortable for a little bit?
If you must.
I appreciate you taking the opportunity to share your discovery of all of these amazing things in your new community and how you're making connections with them. I think that's really exciting. I like
It's
seeing
low, but I'm enjoying it. It's a little lonely,
that.
but
Sure.
it's probably meant to be, because I told Spirit I need time to be by myself to figure things out and to heal and recenter and regroup and reconnect. And they're listening to me and giving me exactly what I asked for. But people are starting to come now into my circle slowly. And yeah. And
That's beautiful.
what's right here? So thank you. I am jacked like the Minotaur, so I can understand the confusion, Gerald. I am jacked like the. I don't know what the hell this is going on between. Yeah.
But I think I would hope people would agree with me. I'm not the only one who's noticing that, and watching it, it's great to see that connection, and it's slow, but it's purposeful. And like your paintings, holy crap! We talked about creativity conversations and color, and I mean, you're
and I got another one on the easel for this weekend. So. Tom says he's got 86 Lamberts in New Jersey. Well, Tom, start walking them. At least one.
Tom, we expect a full report. On those labyrinths. We also expect you to be able to make videos of them. That's content for you.
There you go. But I do appreciate, Gerald, you saying that.
Oh, you're welcome.
You know, about me sharing my experiences and stuff, because as of late, it seems like my voice kind of seems to want to be silenced a bit, and having to kind of watch what I say or talk. And I'm like, you know what? I'm always respectful. I always let people know that this is my personal experience or my personal perspective. And there's no judgment to others, but I really want to start speaking my truth. And I think even though that might cause a few feathers to ruffle, it does feel like I'm coming more into my own. So I appreciate the support from everybody in the community who's following me here to my channel and my new channel and stuff and hanging out. So I appreciate that.
Oh, you're welcome. And if there's anything I can do to help you with that, please let me know.
Heather is just a shift. A shift drive? What? Wait, Tom.
I think Tom is being funny. He's trying to be funny. And instead of being funny, he's just being trying.
Oh, okay. You got the fan going. There you go. But everybody knows Tom. He loves to joke, and he's like a big teddy bear, and so.
And everybody knows I'm teasing Tom.
Yep.
And I just have to make sure
with that. Yes.
I have to make sure that's clear.
I told Tom, privately one day, if I've ever said anything that's offended you or whatever, please just let me know. He goes, oh, believe me, you'll get a what the fuck.
Here you go. And continue to read. Heather it's just a shift. Yeah, it's a shift in perspective for you.
I know, my dear. Yeah. Yes.
Not a joke, compliment. God damn it. Oh, here, wait a minute. It's a compliment. God damn it. Oh, excuse me. Am I allowed to say the word God damn it?
I mean, we're adults here, and if people, they can just cover their ears or.
No, but I see. Okay, so Tom sees it as well. And so that's good validation. So,
no, it's kind of hard when you lose people in your circle because of it. But then when people leave the circle, new people come in. So it's just an ongoing, like the Lambeth. You walk in,
yes,
you're taking stuff in, and when you walk out, you leave things behind. So things fall away.
I'm curious what you could do with thinking about a labyrinth and a painting.
Let me shut my phone off. I'm getting stupid messages from Verizon and shit. Yeah, I mean, I used to do a lot of that earlier on, circles and spirals were my jam. I don't know if I think I brought a couple of old ones with me that I would be able to share. But I am going to share one, and I know I have some people tell me that sometimes you overshare a little bit, but people know I'm very open and honest about my diagnosis because there's too much stigma and silence around mental health and
Yes.
mental health, needs that because we all have it, and we shouldn't be shamed, um,
Right.
for reaching out to it. So back in 2011. Heather did attempt, you know, to take her life. And in the process of doing that, I immediately turned around and got help. I ran and got some help. And so it took a week to talk
Hmm.
to people in the hospital, get on medication to help me, got reestablished and connected again with myself. And to honor that, I was doing some after school teaching at Niagara Arts and Cultural Center, and there was a smithing jeweler that helped me create a pendant. The pieces that I'm going to show, I cut out myself.
Oh.
He soldered them for me because I had never had experience with the soldering, and he didn't want me to burn or hurt myself. But I created a spiral labyrinth for myself, and it's
Oh.
a little, looks a little dirty because it was brass, but I don't mind the antiquing. But it represented to me, going within, finding that beautiful, that my opal is like my spirit stone, and finding that center and going back out, and that reminder that going through this, there's still the light that you can find in the middle. So that is something that I wear every now and then. But for me, this is a representation of my almost, death and
Your
rebirth
experience that you
experience.
were
Yeah.
on the other side of, and correct me if I'm wrong,
Jamie.
you've used it to help you move forward and find your truth
Yes.
and to move. That's
Mhm.
really powerful.
And there have been times that were dark after that, yes, but every now
Of
and then that comes
course.
out when I need to see that, and it reminds me, and I'm like, yeah, I made that by hand. That was to celebrate and honor what, I went through and how I came out. So, and again, it's not to pity party or to make anybody
Hmm.
uncomfortable. It's just to show that we all, there are a lot of us who go through something like this, and there is hope. There are people there to help you, and recovery is possible. And finding that joy in life again is still possible. And so that might be oversharing to some, but for me, I like to see it as trying to help others.
Sure. And what's really interesting, Heather, is you're talking about this and you shared that beautiful your own labyrinth and your
Mhm.
experience of how it was created. You just, and I don't know if you did this on purpose, but you just embodied the importance of symbolism in our lives.
Yeah,
You put an emotion into something visual, and therefore, when you see that, you have a response to it.
exactly.
It's like freaking awesome.
And for some
And
people too that have survived, suicide or suicide ideation, the semicolon is also a very powerful symbol.
it is,
And a
yes.
lot of people will. I've had peer advocates, who have helped me show they've gotten tattoos on it, and for them, it's a physical
Mhm.
reminder on their body that my story's not quite over yet. There's still more to come.
Yes,
So
yes,
again, the importance of
yeah,
symbolism in our life. Yeah.
yeah. You can take that period, turn it into a semicolon, and there allows so much more power.
And Tom says it's almost like you did a magical act. Mm-hmm.
And I think that's interesting. People who are watching the playback, think about the symbols that you have in your life, not just that you grew up with per se, but the
Mm-hmm.
ones you've created, and those are really powerful. I love this topic of symbolism, obviously, because and I was driving as we were lurking, and as I was lurking, I'm like, I can't
And
comment.
this could be like a series too, if anybody would like this to
Yeah.
be, a series, because there are so many symbols that we can look at and discuss and share that's personal to ourselves as
Yep.
well.
Yeah.
So, and Nancy says, Well, first of all, Jack says people's journeys matter. It's the fabric that weaves it together, soul by soul.
Mhm.
So I had a friend too in Buffalo stopped me one day and she goes, we were meeting somebody, and I've always been very open about my past experiences with um, uh, sexual trauma at the hands of a family member. By sharing that and being open with that, I helped two friends in high school face their fear and tell their parents, and we were able to help get that off their
Wow.
chest. And so when that started, I realized that I can turn that happens to me into something that might help somebody else. And so
Yeah.
when it came to, what happened to me, I know YouTube wants me to say unalive. It's ridiculous how they don't want you to say certain things. But for me, that's another thing where I learned there's, again, the stigma behind, and we still see it,
Mhm.
and I've been in recovery since 2011, and I still see, especially now with current administration, how a lot of health programs and groups like NAMI and other local, mental health providers in states and counties and their
Mhm.
towns, their funding has been cut back. There's like they're literally having to fight
Yeah,
tooth and
it's
nail to
tough.
get something now, whereas it used to be much more available to them. And I mean, and I got on that bus to Albany a couple times to help, talk to, but we never got to see the actual senators, or we had to talk to their
Mhm.
assistants. But still, making that trip and making our voices known, that is so important. Whether we do it once, we do it
Yep.
twice, or if it's just something that we envision in our minds, sending that out in ripples to help other people do it. Every
Yep.
little bit helps. It really does, and it also helps you take your power back as well,
Yes.
and
There's some
shows you how
great
strong and
comments.
resilient you are.
Yeah, it does. And the fact, I mean, and it's not a one and done thing. It's a process.
And we all have symbols that are part of our life and part of our practice, some of which you aren't even aware of consciously. Yeah. Like, people doing this now, that has become a symbol moving
Yep.
forward in our generation. When people look back, they're going to see that and go, what did that mean? And then they'll be like, oh, so when people do this, this can be a sign of saying to someone, I love you, without having to say it. That's a symbol now. So yeah.
Hmm.
And it's interesting how it seems like we're almost going back to the age of hieroglyphics, because people are sharing their thoughts and their
Oh,
ideas
the
through
emojis and stuff like
emojis,
that.
through
Yeah.
symbols, instead of writing out full on. We're getting back to
Yes.
the,
Interesting.
the small, yeah, imagery. I mean, that's art is language. Art is what connects people. So
Yes.
I may not be able to speak, let's say, Russian, but if I send a heart to someone in Russian, they're going to say, oh, they're sending me love.
Hmm.
They'll know. So
So
yeah.
interesting. And I never really, I hadn't thought about the fact emojis are like hieroglyphics.
Hmm.
So,
The black dog that follows you got to turn around and make friends with it. You said black dog. Now I got the song Black Dog by Led Zeppelin in my head. Hey, hey, mama said the way you move will make you sweat, will make
and I
you
want
groove.
credit for not saying who let the dogs out.
Oh, God, I hated that song.
So did I.
Let's see. The best addiction counselors are former addicts. Experience matters. It builds empathy, which is a part of compassion, which is the goal, love, and compassion.
Hmm.
Yeah, they're trauma informed. I mean, for me, and this is Heather speaking now. I have a counselor. I've always had a counselor since 2011, but it's also when it was available to me, I took advantage of it. Especially sometimes it takes a while to find the right one, but I did have a couple peer advocates, and peer advocates are those who train to be able to help other fellow peers, like
Yes.
help them through. So it's you have your counselor who is through more of the medical or the psychological perspective, whereas if you add a peer advocate to them, you have not only the benefits of professional help, doctors, but you also have the professional help and lived experiences and informed experiences from a fellow peer to be able to
Yes.
sit and talk to and listen to, which, for me kind of helped lessen some judgment. But I was blessed, even though I went through a
Yeah.
lot of counselors because of medicated in the hospital until I got Kathy, and I had her for 7 years before, and I had to say goodbye to her after seven
Oh,
years, and I'm
wow.
having to start over again. That's been difficult, but it gave me the foundation and reminds me that, even if it may take me a while to find the right one, they are out there and they are there, and I'm very pleased with Oregon and their programs here. There's so
Hmm.
many that are there to be able to help you free of charge, to help you with medical questions, getting to the store, just having someone to talk
Yeah,
to, everything. There's so many groups that you can be in touch with. At one point, I had like four. They were, oh yeah, we're here to help you.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm really proud of the fact that Oregon is, striving to maintain being able to help
That's good.
people that are less
That's
fortunate and that go through. Yeah.
yeah. I think
And
that's really powerful. And and as people go through as people go through what do we got? I
yeah, here,
learned anticipatory thinking
anticipatory
because
thinking.
thinking. Yeah, it was
Oh, we
that.
lost you, Gerald. Oh, there you are.
I'm back. It's being weird.
Yep.
Um,
See,
but
PTSD.
and I
Yep.
think there's part of the power of the symbols and the symbolism. It's like Ms. Tarot D was talking about
Hey,
doing
Francis.
sigils.
Mm-hmm.
Hi. It's like Ms. Tarot D was talking about sigils.
Mm-hmm.
Part of the beauty in it is you take something that could be difficult, then you turn it into a sigil, and then you transform that energy around it.
Mm-hmm.
And you did that with your labyrinth
Mm-hmm.
that was made for you.
Yeah. I hope to, walk some more in the future.
Yeah.
Um,
And that's an interesting thing. There's a lot of times people when they go on journeys. I don't know.
mhm.
Have you ever done journeying as
Like,
part of any of your practices, Heather?
you mean like a spirit quest journey or going somewhere physically different to I've never there have been journeys I've been wanting to take, but just financially not being able to do it.
Okay.
So I try to find meditations where I can put my headphones on and
Sure.
go guided. A lot of them, most of them, you know,
Yeah.
sometimes they get to me where I need, but to actually go on a journey with a spiritual group.
Yeah.
When I was learning Reiki in my 30s, William Lee Rand, who is the head of, the Reiki headquarters organization in America, he led a Reiki master. Um, what's the word I'm thinking of? Entombments and
Oh, uh-huh.
class in entombments to Glastonbury in England,
Oh, wow.
and he had permission. He was going to take his students who could afford to go, people who wanted to go into Stonehenge to get their attunements
Wow.
at Stonehenge. And I cried because I wanted to go to that
Yeah.
so badly and I
Oh,
couldn't
of
do it.
course.
So
Of course, yeah.
who
Well,
knows?
if
Maybe in
you
the
were
future.
if you're doing that spiritual journeying where you
I
go
sure
into a
am.
meditation, part of what you can do is a lot of times I've seen it is that the deity that you're working with, and we'll just say the goddess that you're working with,
Mm-hmm.
she could give you a symbol to help connect you and to help remind you of that. There's a lot of power in that because when I've had experiences with that happening, I go, well, this is what it looked like. And then, of course, like many of us, you draw it about 150,000 times because that's what you want to do. You
Mm-hmm.
do all of the sketches and then you do some research on it. And then you start to discover, oh, this also means this. It also means this. It also means
Mm-hmm.
this. It's very fun and exciting. I'm sorry, Heather. I'm just rambling and I'm like going blah, 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 blah. And you were doing readings with people. So
Um,
I should
yeah, I was
probably
just gonna
go.
say something and I completely there is a I met her while working at Crystal Magic when I was in Arizona, and her
Uh-huh.
name is Eagle Spirit. She had a life changing experience where she legally changed her name to Eagle Spirit, and she will go. People will reach out to her, and they will tell her where they want to go to have a spiritual awakening or spiritual work, and she will do the tickets and everything and fly out and meet you there. And that's how I met her. She goes to Sedona regularly, and she stopped into the Flagstaff store, and I met her in 2007, and we still keep in touch every now and then. She's in
I love
Canada.
that.
So maybe one of these days. I've always wanted to do one with her. So
I wonder if this person would join you on a live to have a conversation about it.
I brought that up once before, I believe, and I don't think I ever heard back, but I can always reach out to her again. But eaglespiritjourneys.com, I believe, is the name of her
That's
website.
powerful. That's
And
cool.
you see her, and she's just got beautiful energy. She's an artist as well. She does paintings. So, oh, wait a minute. Did Tom say he was going? Oh, no, he was just putting up. Oh, Gerald's channel. Okay, thank you, Tom. Yes, Nancy did that and make sure you put yours up in there too.
Just sub for my occasional appearance.
Occasional appearance. So, but yes.
Yes. Because the occasional appearance. There you go, Tom.
Oh my God, you got the blue. I lost, Gerald.
Did you? Oh, I'm sorry.
It was almost a tie, but Kaylee squeezed by with a ladybug card.
Kaylee did tell me that there were no bluebirds involved.
No bluebirds were involved. No, but yeah. I was knocked off. I'm no longer a reigning champion. But it was a lot of fun though. So, but
that's the whole point.
And if people don't know what bluebirds, Gerald, was it you and me that went?
It was me and Jane the Seeker.
Jane the Seeker. Hershey wanted Gerald to find a bluebird, and he found a bird that had a tiny little thing of blue on it. Like, no, that's not.
I think
it stuck.
I think Tom was very opinionated with it.
Good night, Nancy.
Oh, good night, Nancy.
Joining me. Ain't that a damn shame? I won my last. Yeah, Rub it in, Tom. Rub it in. But him and I are going to be together for teams. So
you and Tom.
We're team Depeche because we both like Depeche Mode.
And then the other team needs to be Team Mode.
Well, I hope not.
As in a la mode.
Oh boy! Oh boy!
Yes.
Oh boy.
Okay, Tom.
I was judging that day. Yeah.
You were judging, and you were very.
But if you saw this ladybug that she got squeezed away with, I'm like, that's not really. But it came that close. We were down to almost like neck and neck, and I'm just like. But too, when I moved, I had to give up a lot of my decks.
Yeah.
And just save the ones that I really, really wanted to keep. So, but it was quite the battle, and
So here's an interesting thing. Let's officially judge. I was judging and officially judging it. So here's something interesting is we're talking about symbolism. So the bluebird is now a symbol that has a lot of emotions attached to it. And overall, it makes people laugh and giggle.
Yes.
And I think that's a powerful and important thing for symbols, because let's face it, back in the day, and you may have already said this, Heather, back in the day, people couldn't read. So that's when they went to church. And Curtis seat. Wow. Okay. But back in the day, people could, churches and cathedrals had stained glass to symbolically explain certain life choices and certain principles. So.
Exactly. And look at Rosalind Chapel. In France, they've got the Green Man, they've got pagan in there, they got Christianity in there. It's like a universal church religions and metaphysics in that place. So yeah,
I think
I would love to go there.
I think it is so interesting when you think about the symbols. Do some research and pull back and go, where did these symbols start? How did they begin? What's really fascinating, Heather, because you were talking about this, and so I was like, ooh, I wonder about this. I wonder about this. And what's interesting is they grow and evolve,
Mm-hmm.
and they build on top of each other. It's like really, really interesting.
And Julie says, yes, you need to do this topic of symbols as a series. Symbols are used during the Dust Bowl when vagabonds looked for whatever on
Oh
their
yeah,
journey.
is it hobo symbols?
I believe so. I think
Yeah.
I've seen that on Pinterest. I have different, banners, not banners, but those things on Pinterest boards that
Oh,
I have
okay.
a lot of. And hello, Roman. Good to see you. I don't know if you ever met Roman. This is
I
Gold
did.
Mundi.
I got an email from Roman sharing with me about a deck that they bought on Amazon that he was a little disappointed with.
Oh, and yes, hobo
Hobo
symbols are still
symbols.
used today, Thompson.
And by the way, this is Bob Ross holding the bluebird. So can you really have anger and deceit when Bob Ross is included? Now,
Well,
true,
actually,
the Bob Ross head is completely turned around. So
what a lot of people don't know is his manager, when he was alive, tricked him
yeah,
and
well, yeah,
and
but that
and
wasn't Bob. That was the manager.
yeah, not Bob, but the manager. And now
Yeah,
anything that you buy with Bob Ross, none of his family gets that. It all
yeah.
goes to her and her corporation. So, Exorcist Bob Ross. I know, Tom. I
Exorcist
was
Bob
thinking
Ross.
about that. Oh my goodness, too much.
Yeah, Exorcist Bob Ross.
All
And
right.
yeah, okay.
Did
So
you
I
want
should.
to? Did you want to stay and do a few readings and just kind of break down the symbols in the cards that you pull, as long as we keep it to one or two cards? Would you be interested in?
I'm trying
Or
to think of what deck I have that's
and
heavily
if
symbol.
not, this could be always for another show as well. And Magic with Moonlight, this is Shay. And Shay
Shay.
said, I picked up a Bob Ross Oracle deck the other day. I have his playing cards. I don't know if I
Yep.
donated those or not, but they've got his sayings on it. And Carolina, I did see that you came in. I put you up on the screen. Hello, my dear. I am loving my Crow Tarot. Thank you so much. That
Oh,
is my
that's
deck to communicate with the Morrigan now. So thank you
oh,
so
how
much for your
cool.
beautiful gift. Yes.
Ooh, very
She
nice.
did resonate with it and heard that I wanted it, and she shipped it right off to me. So
I
thank.
love
Oh, she is here. So
it.
yes,
Yay.
thank you
Yay.
so much.
Um,
So if you don't, no worries, and I'll just plod along on my
I'm
own. But
I'm looking around and I'm a little tired and I
well, we
had
don't want to
dinner,
read when we're
so
tired. Yes,
well, I
we want to
mean,
be
I
grounded.
don't want to do a lot of things when I'm tired except sleep, but that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
But
Sleep is a
I
good thing.
Yes. Thank you so very much for letting me join you. I didn't
Well, thank
realize
you
that I
for
was
joining
on
me. It
for
was
so long.
fun.
Yeah, and if you ever want to talk about symbols again, let me know. If you want people who are opinionated, invite Tom.
Not you. You're
I'm
not
not
opinionated.
opinionated. So
But yeah,
I'm not
it's
opinionated. But I would like to remind everybody, please make sure you use your tiny
Jeffrey.
hands and click the like button and subscribe.
Yes.
All right. I'm going to head out. Thank
Good
you,
night,
Heather.
Gerald. Good night, Jeffrey. It was good to see everyone. Who's that voice? That's the voice of Jeffrey.
That's
So
the voice of Jeffrey. All right.
good night.
Bye.
Bye. So that was a lot of fun. Alrighty, I am doing my judging face. Okay, so Jax, Julie, Christina, Shay, and Irene. Christina, I don't know if you're still here. I know Jax, Julie, Shay, and Irene are. So Um, let's do this. Let's do a court card. And then I'll pick one of the cards to open the book and talk about. Oh, wait, okay, we're going to do it this way. Jax. Well, everybody who asked for a reading. Hello, Miss Tarot D. I'm glad you're still here. For those who asked for a reading, which is Jax, Julie, Christina, Shay, and Irene, let me know if you want a card pulled from my court card pile, my major arcana pile, or my minor. And the card that I pulled will look at the symbolism. And we'll break it down. And sorry, did I miss much? Actually, Gerald and I had a very cool conversation. See, I'm not saying, you know, like that Nathan Fillion when he goes, from Castle. That's what I'm doing right now. You say surprise me. Okay, so Jax is my first. So Julie wants major. And Jax says surprise. Christina, did you say what you preferred? Oh, but she can let me know. So, Jax, where am I being drawn to? Let's look at the minors for Jax. And I've broken these up, and I love doing this because I have this new book, and I'm also reading the Inner Tarot, which is about healing with the tarot. And the author, Kate Van Horn, suggested a exercise where you separate, them into 3 piles and then pull 1 card each from there for, daily readings or to work with. And that way you get to learn individually together the messages of those cards, which I thought was pretty cool. So, alrighty, let me tap this down. Wait, is Gerald Miss Tarot D? They can't appear in the same room together. Oh my God. Christina, you want major. Oh my God. So Christina wants major. Oh Lordy. And look who's here now. Urban Forest. Hello, Urban Forest. You'll have to join me on a Friday night too when it's just me. So, Jax. I am pulling from the minor. And I'll have to see how I can incorporate one of my tiles. I don't think I have my tiles here with me. Oh, I do have my tiles. Look at Miss Tarot D. I have a tile. So, Jax, you have the 2 of Cups. And the 2 of Cups, of course, attraction, mutual bonds, compatibility, friendships, harmony with others, with ourselves as well. They didn't include that on here, but this is about friendship and loving ourselves as well and having that beautiful connection with who we are and our connection with our higher self and with spirit. And so from this book, let's see how they broke down the 2 of Cups. And I almost opened right up to it. And let me take this out. So the figures, so there's 10 of them. So let me see, kind of pick and choose here which ones to look at. So the figures position or poses. The figures are almost in half profile. A positive aspect of this is 2 halves make a whole. Negative is if one always sees the other person as one's better half, then one is reduced to be only half of a person, love only half-hearted. And I love that because a lot of times people say that they're not complete until they find their twin flame, which I don't believe in, their soulmate, or somebody to complete them. We in and ourselves, even though sometimes that's hard to digest sometimes, and we're not necessarily in an emotional place where we can be for that, and that's okay when we have those moments. But we don't need another to complete who we are, to complete ourselves as a whole, to me, it's that addition that makes things magical. So let's see, the staff of Hermes. Let's look at the staff of Hermes. And the staff stands for the link between drive and intellect. The snakes coiled around it make, wait a minute, the snakes coiled around it make larger and larger coils the higher they are. In order to put a stop to this development, one must go back to the roots. Well, that's interesting. Stands for the link between drive and intellect. The snakes coiled around it make larger and larger the higher they are in order to put a stop to. That is very interesting. That's something to think about. The light blue sky, let's look at that because of color. The heavens, the divine realm, and the realm of the will. That's what the blue symbolizes. Light blue sky, water, positive lightheartedness, spiritual joy, purpose of will, lucid mind. Now, if we look at it from a negative perspective, which we didn't get, but being over admiring and wishful thinking. And I'm going to go with this one because a lot of times you don't necessarily look at the little images that are in here, but there's a tiny little house in this, and I'm using my radiant because for me, sorry Pamela, my dear, but the traditional colors are just a bit too garish for me. I like how they keep together with the radiance. So that tiny little house on the hill, the hills in the image stand for the ups and downs of life. And the task, we should look for our better half within ourselves and thus open the way for the real partnership. That way, we automatically find our way home. You know, I was going to return this book, and I'm glad I didn't. I am really, that's beautiful. So, and let's see one more. And so they're referring to her as the high priestess's color. So we're going to look at her. White and blue, here, let me just keep this up here for you. White and blue represent the feminine side. If this aspect remains obscure, underdeveloped, or half-hearted, then they also stand for the anima part of our spiritual life. Fearful, demanding, and disoriented. That's interesting. Let me reread that. White and blue represent the feminine side. If this aspect remains obscure, underdeveloped, or half-hearted, then they also stand for the anima, part of our spiritual life, fearful, demanding, and disoriented. So this is not suppressing our feminine aspects, our intuition, our sympathy, our empathy, embracing everything that is feminine and not repressing it and suppressing it to find someone to make ourselves whole. So everything that we need is within her. And those are the ones that are jumping. Oh, wait a minute. Let's look at the crowns, shall we? So they're wearing little laurel leaf crowns. And it says here, looking at the negative aspect, this is the start of an entangled relationship. Positive, how love and being loved can turn daily routine into a celebration and raise ourselves onto a higher plane. And again, not necessarily meaning that it's an intimate love as in like a sexual partner, an intimate partner, but any sort of type of partnership, our friends, our loved ones, ourselves, when we are able to embrace that, and it makes, connects us with that joy and helps us feel connected to source or higher self, and that helps us to make ourselves feel more whole, if that makes sense. So thanks, Jax, for letting me start that off. That was interesting. I hope people are okay for, with this, but I think this is interesting. No wonder those two are drinking. Oh my God, I gotta, it makes me think of that song, Miss Terrell D from the 90s. Remember everybody? Closing time, one less call for alcohol. And then the line says, you can't stay here, you can go home with someone else, but you can't stay here. So that whole thing of, sometimes having to, oh my God, do I need to do another drink to be able to go home with this? We've all had those days, right? But yeah. Or when I was younger, in Buffalo, one of the radio stations, here I go again about music, but y'all know how much I love music. And they said, the song My Sharona, they actually did a parody called Nine Coronas. And the lyrics and everything, the more I drink nine Coronas, the more beautiful she was, and I was able to go home with her. So yeah. Um, Ripple or Mad Dog? Semisonic, yep. So let's see. Miss Taro D, they just bought that house. They can only afford cheap box wine. My friend Nikki would love that, Miss Taro D. She's all about, when we have our openings for our art exhibits, just knock everybody over with all the food and everything. She goes, but when it comes to the wine, she goes, just get the cheap box stuff. She goes, that'll do it. That'll be enough. She goes, get them drunk enough to buy something. Oh man, Thunderbird adult juice boxes. Y'all are cracking me up. Um, I like champagne, but it's got to be Asti. I don't like the dry. I like the sweet. I like the Asti Spumante. That's my favorite. Yep, I have a whole playlist from '90s. In today's economy, that little house is now worth 500K. Yeah, no kidding, Miss Tarody. The houses here start roughly at, there are a few that I see here and there at about 3 or 4, but after that, most of them are 500,000, 800,000, and there's some here even in town that are like over $1 million. But a lot of these are sitting right on the hill, so you have these expand. I mean, yeah, it's insane. So, you know what? For Jax, to go with that card, I'm going to pull a tile. I can't have Miss Taro D here and not pull a tile. Economic ghetto status. So hear that, Miss Taro D? Let's see. So Jax, to go with that, you got the Knight of Cups, which is perfect. Again, looking for love, being that chivalrous individual, going out and being kind and empathic, basically putting his heart on the sleeve kind of, knight is what I call him. So becoming emotionally available. So what I think it's saying here too is reminding us that when we are already whole within ourselves, we do attract that knight in shining armor, our romantic love, our partner. So that's beautiful. I love how we ended with that. So, and I get other ones here that keep sticking. All righty. So, okay, Miss Taro D, that little house would cost over 2 million or more here. Oh my God, Christina, that's insane. Get toes. Ashlyn, that's where I'm at. Woohoo, Hercules. I lead with my heart. Oh my goodness, chat jumped. The ache hasn't gone off yet. Looking for love. Yep. Looking for love in all the wrong places. Let's see. All righty. So Roman said, thank you, Ms. Taro D. Back to Heather. For me, there's only one formula that works. 1 + 1 = 2 or greater. If less than 2, something is missing. Yep. Let's see. Yep. It takes two, baby. It takes two, me and you. See, I love music. I know that gets me into trouble sometimes when I talk about music, but it's a part of my life. So, Julie, major arcana. It is. I have a friend in Eugene, and she says prices are very high there too. Wait a minute, that's not Major Arcana. Well, really quick, Julie, you're going to get a Major Arcana, but you also got the Six of Wands. So if you were wondering about something, you're going to be successful, you're going to be victorious, and you're going to get that recognition and approval. So I don't think that was a faux pas, necessarily an intentionally faux pas. I think that might have been spirit gain involved there. So yes, Shay, music can heal. Believe me, especially Tori Amos, her girls from the choir hotel, Boys for Pele, those albums of hers, In Orbit, just her music, Under the Pink, got me through a lot. Heather, they discontinued the deck that you had the last time with the rare name. I don't know what deck you're talking about. We'll have to look into that. So, Julie, that's why you're successful. You're manifesting it. You're tapping into your magician. You're tapping into your potential. You're focused. You're harnessing that energy, universal energy. You're connected to the earth, and you've got all your tools on the table. You know how to use them. You know how to manifest, and you've been very successful. So, and Kristen Louise, welcome back. So there we go. You got the magician. And so let's see. Let's pick out a few of the magician. Okay, what jumps out? Oh, first of all, let's look at the red mantle that he's wearing. And it says here, energy, passion, will, lifeblood, love, but also revenge or rage. Those are associations with the color red. Positive, to live for worthwhile goals and to live out one's heart's desire. And it looks like you're working towards that. Yep. And the infinity symbol, I'm going to go for that one too, because when you turn it over, it's an 8 and it's a life path number for me. So let us look right at the lemniscate. I always have a hard time pronouncing that. Lemniscate. So roller coaster. Woo-hoo-hoo. Positive, infinity, balance, perpetuum, mobile, good vibrations. Ooh, good vibrations. Yes, root chakra. Because you're taking that energy from the earth, you're bringing that through yourself, and you're connecting it to as above, so below, and you're harnessing that, and you're bringing that right into the middle. I lost my space here. So taking part in eternity. A negative aspect could be chasing one's tail, restlessness, repetition with progress without progress. Yeah, I'm looking at what the other ones that came up. This is totally making sense. And now the one that I want to look at, because its color is the yellow background. So we got the yellow right there. And the yellow background, sun, but also the search for meaning and envy, gold and greed. A possible danger associated with this color, to get too close to the sun. The guy who got too close to the sun. Why can I not think of his name? Anyway, I almost said licorice, but you all know who I'm talking about. Positive enlightenment, also for the other sides, equaling reliable state of consciousness. And again, as above, so below, the gestures with the arms. The individual as connecting link between heaven and earth, man as a channel, man, woman as a channel, the relationship between possibility and reality, the successful union of thought and deed. All that talking with Gerald and on my blah, blah, blah. But I want to look at the, because we were talking about this with symbolism today. There's the pentacle. And, each of these symbols represents what is on the pentacle. You have the swords, which is air, the cups, which represents the water, the wand in his hand, or the one saying, no, the wand's on the table. Well, the wand too in his hand. But the wand, fire, and then the pentacle, earth. And together, in the middle is spirit. So with the symbols here, dowry, this is interesting, what life brings to you, tasks which are to be accomplished, the tools of magic, will, intellect, feelings, and corporeality. So yes, very interesting. And Miss Tarot D is laughing. We must take a look to see what we are laughing at. He was not deceased. What? What am I missing here? Welcome back. Beautiful. The infinity symbol, red rouge. Icarus. Thank you. I said licorice. Hey, it's close. The Daedalus. Miss Tarot D, I know it, but I can't spell it. There we go. The wax feathers. Yes, they melted. Narcissus. Yep, that was Icarus. Oh no. Deceased looking in the water. What? How do we get to that? And Miss Tarot D, Mangle Unicorn for the win. Tell us, Fauna, what did the man win? Let's see. Narcissus stared upon his own reflection. Yeah, he was not deceased. Oh, good Lord. Oh, Miss Tarot D, you're missing a lot. These chatters are crazy tonight. Yeah, and they're my crazy chatters, and you're a part of it, Miss Tarot D. So there you go. Icarus is on the cover of Led Zeppelin's Mothership. Yep, it's the swan song. Exactly. That's their emblem. That is a double-ended wand. And you know what they can use double-ended wands for? Especially women. But I digress. And hey, this is an adult show, so I can say that if I want. Alrighty, so we are looking at that. Is anything else jumping out at me, Julie? No. But let's pull a tile. Let's see what tile gets to go with the... And what I love about that too, this book also, is that for the Magician card, they break it down to a basic reading, and then they'll break it down into, spiritual, relationships, money. So I'm recommending the book. Just saying. That's a double just saying. So the tile to go with, boy, is another wand. Julie, you are bringing the wands tonight, girlfriend. What's going on here? So the Knight of Wands, the fiery, passionate, highly motivated, and aggressive knight. Wow. So you got air with the fire, and air, is what feeds the fire. So, girl, what you got going on? You're bringing that vitality, that creative energy, that power to whatever it is that you are working on and moving towards. So I think that's an awesome combo for you tonight. I have to, Tom, because I don't want to speak to you. What? Miss Tarot D, I told Tom that I was looking forward to you two, hanging out with me in chat tonight and keeping me entertained. Alrighty, so let's put that there. And next up is Christina. And Christina wanted a major. I'm looking at Major Tom. Major Tom. Time to take your protein pill and put your helmet on. I am going back to my channel Saturday night, so there's that awesome Julie. You gotta join Allyson and I some night, or me and Nancy on our Divine Feminine some night. And so, Christina, you got the Fool. And there we go. I love the colors Molly chose for this one here. So, Fool's all about being carefree, spontaneous, having faith, boundless potential, a little bit of naivety, in their ground control to Major Tom. No, we're starting to channel some Bowie in here. But what I love about this is a fresh start. I like the Fools because they represent a fresh start. Tapping into that inner child-like energy. So let's see, the Fool. Oh, that's right. In this book, they put the Fool at the very end because it's 0, which is bizarre. So, Christina, the Fool card, and let's take a look here. Let's look at the color, the yellow in the background. Again, radiant sun, but also sensual desire and envy. Ooh, danger, getting too close to the sun can mean a great fall. And we're just talking about Icarus. And they're also referring to it as mania as well. Positive, illumination and inspiration, which equals strong, reliable consciousness. So that's that yellow. And yellow is also a color of self-empowerment too. It's our solar plexus chakra. And that's where our core energy, our self-power is grounded in, is in our core. So let's look at the white sun together with the white rose and white dog. Negative aspect would be colorlessness, naivety, mind goes blank. What happens to me sometimes with y'all. Positive, nirvana, completion, cleansing, the mind is void without identifications and attachments and liberty. And the minute I saw nirvana, my mind just started playing all the Nirvana songs. And also Robert Plant, speaking of Led Zeppelin, did a song called Nirvana. Nirvana. So I can't remember what, I think it was the Nirvana album. It was right after Ship of Fools. He released another one. And that was on there. So let's continue looking at the yellow boots. Positive, the fool goes this way with great self-confidence. Every step is taken consciously. If there's a negative aspect, he seeks his way with his feet instead of using head and heart. What the head has forgotten, the feet must fetch. And that bundle, let's see what's in that bundle. The burden that each of us has to carry. The black staff stands for one's own activities, at first only dimly perceived. Task to sense and grasp one's potential. And let's see. Bye, Miss Tarot D. Mwah. Have a good evening. Thank you for popping in and hanging out. Love you much. And what I always added to the Fool card with the bundle for me, and I don't know if this was something I had learned or if this was something that I had considered, is that in that bundle contains the elements, all the tools that is needed for the magician on his table. So that was always something that I had learned in the past. So the figure's position or pose, open with his large wings spread wide and chin in the air, ready to take off and launch himself into the air. Keeping one's nose in the air like that can, however, also be a sign of insecurity and arrogance. And let's look at the white doggy, Christina. I love the little white doggy. An alert watchdog. Either the fool himself is awake and aware in the intensity of the moment, or the dog calls a warning and shows what the human next to him has missed. And in other decks, I love how, like in the Fyodor Pavlov, the fool is joined by a black kitty cat. And I think it's the Heaven and Earth one. There's a beautiful, like, wolf with them. So let's look at, what is that? Oh, here's something, Christina. Let's look at the feather coming out of his cap that we have right there. I was drawn to that. The red feather, the flame of life and of joy, connecting to the death and the sun card. Vital strength, potential, vitality. The red feather shows the liveliness of a person's soul and heart. Alrighty, so let's see. Those were the ones that spoke out to me. I can't do all 10, but those were the ones that my attention was drawn to. And your tile to go with the Fool card is the Five of Cups. So the Five of Cups is about, of course, emotional sadness, depression, having to let go. But it is a card of sadness and grief. There's still 2 cups behind them. but right now this individual is focusing on the spilled ones. So with the Fool and with the Grief card, it feels like what it's saying here is, let's see what the reverse. Nah. So with the, I'm not big on reversals, but here there what's connecting me is looking at this boundless potential for the Fool card, and these cups, they have boundless potential. So right now, sitting with the feelings, going through what you're feeling, and being able to release them, because when you do, that opens your heart and lightens your heart. So let the Fool in, let the light in, let the sun in. Imagine being on that cliff, feeling the wind in your hair, going through that beautiful feather, enjoying, whatever animal companion that is with you, and allow that to know that you can move forward. There is more to experience, there is more to celebrate and to be excited about and look forward to, once you can work through those emotions. So that's what I have for you, Christina. And oh my goodness, I've been on for 2 hours already. Gerald. But that's okay. That was a great conversation. So Shay wanted, did Shay say which one you wanted? Shay, I'm going to go and pull a minor for you. Oh, and Shay gets the 5 of Wands, which is, of course, is about conflict, rivalry. Is that okay with you, Shay? That was like the first pile of my hand, was ready to go grab anyways. So there's struggle going on, and sometimes this can be, between individuals. This could be a physical, possibly in sort of physical altercation, or also thoughts in our heads, struggling with thoughts and making decisions and kind of being at battle with ourselves. So let's look at what the 5 of Wands has to say. Lots of wands tonight, y'all. And the 5 of Wands. So what strikes me right away are, let's looking at the staffs, all the individual staffs that are in there. Contest and competition, friction, heat, achieving more with teamwork, but also ill will, pettiness. So this is interesting. Aikido, Taekwondo, Mikado. So this could also be reflecting exercise, connecting with health, physical activities. And let's see, carpenters, scaffolders. That's interesting how, like, building maybe a scaffolding is what they're referring to. Let's see, where else am I in this? Oh, they do. Oh, they have 2 separate ones for this: building site, workshop, creative chaos, or a lack of concept. Wow. So the second one is about competition. To ensure that the will remains fresh and alert, our various aspects should wrestle with each other regularly, and we with others. I shouldn't define today what I will do tomorrow. Okay. The blue sky. So we got some blue sky in there. The heavens, the divine realm, and the realm of the will. Light blue is the open sky. And when it comes to blues too, the light blues in your throat is also your throat chakra. How you speak, how you communicate. Are you able to communicate clearly? Do you able to communicate safely? And sometimes if there is a struggle going on, you're struggling to be able to speak your truth, or to be able to share your feelings or emotions, or ideas, with others. And let's see, the positive, lightheartedness, nonchalance, purpose of will, and lucid mind. That's interesting. Let's see, what else? The red figure's hat. So lots of reds that she enjoyed using. I don't know if we have a red figure hat on here. Oh, is that supposed to be red? Well, it's like a brownish red, like a little chestnut. And it says here, the red hat is also connected to the Page of Wands. And Little Red Riding Hood. Isn't that interesting? I'm learning along with you guys with this book. Keep it under your hat. So maybe whatever the struggle is, trying to keep maybe thoughts or feelings or opinions under the hat. Um, Also, talking through your hat. The talking hat, the sorting hat from Harry Potter. Who thought of that the minute I heard you say that? So the hat, understand what you want. Do what's waiting to be done. I never saw the hat as a symbol for that. Understanding what you want. Do what's waiting to be done. That's interesting. And let's see. What else is jumping out at me? The adolescents, young men in competition to gain the biggest one. See, now when we're talking about the biggest one, Miss Tarot Day's not here. Playboys, playing children, or addicted players, addicted maybe like gaming. The team leader and the spoil sport. So there may be a spoil sport in here. Interesting. As a metaphor, competing forces without a clear winner as yet. So very interesting. So let's find your let's see. So this is I am reading for Shay. Yes, I am. So Shay, let's see. Don't the staves on the 501s represent building a pentagram? Actually, could very well be, Roman. That's very interesting. They don't mention that, and I'm glad you pointed it out. Thank you. That's something that I did not see before. This is why I like participation with my chatters and people joining, because we learn from each other. And tarot and learning in our community, there should be no competition. You know, we should all be learning together. And with this card here, this could be 5 individuals trying to figure out how to come together and put their heads together, not their wands. Another little joke. But yes, I think that's, and if it was in a reverse, that could be, disassembling. I like that. I'm going to put that up here really quick so people can see that if they're watching back. 5 of Wands represent the pentagram. That is very cool. So your tile, Shay, is the Sun card. So whatever's going on with the struggle or competition or chaos, the underlying energy to go along with it is the Sun card. And that's about success, acknowledging, sometimes even if we maybe aren't the winner or we have to walk away, that still is a success. But really, this energy it almost feels like a competition. Shay, I don't know if you do or enjoy anything with sports, but if there is a situation where you're clashing with other people, or there's hard time to connect and make an agreement, this card is really about success in your endeavors. Good luck. Things are looking up, and aside from the creepy baby, but yeah, the light rays of God, are shining down. So whatever this is going to come to pass, and then that sun is going to come out. So I don't take credit for that. I read or heard it once, but still, that's something that you were able to share with us, and we learned from you on it. So thank you very much. So I hope that you resonated with that, Shay. Who's reading this? That was for Shay and Irene. You are my next and last. So, Irene, what did you ask for? Did you want major, court, or minor? I don't have any more tea left. I like that though. Do 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 do. There is a competition. Okay. So that Sun card does represent success. Major. it may be a success that in a way that we may not see it, or we might be like, oh, that. So if something comes up and you may not even feel like that's a success, I know I'm bringing this up. But if there comes an agreement of some kind, or it comes to a conclusion, um, that success may not be the kind of success we may want, but it might be something that will work better further on down the line. But nothing with games or sports in the middle of two people. That makes sense. Yep. Alrighty, girl. That sucks. I've been in there way too many times. But I try to do the no drama llama for me. So Irene wants a major. We're going back to ground control. Okay. Oh, we got the Fool again, Irene. But you just learned about the Fool, so let's pick a different one for you. So they'll be part of the reading. So again, fresh start. So this is being carefree, spontaneous, watching nice step. So let's see. Let's get a different major arcana card for Irene. Okay, so we got the Judgment card. So the Fool, but then we do have the Judgment card. And of course, it's all about spiritual awakenings and epiphanies, all, ascending to a higher state of consciousness or to a spiritual realm, Judgment Day, going up to heaven. But I like where it says here, self-assessment. But when I've also, to me, this card also means about judgment, judging ourselves, judging others. So for me, this card has a twofold. Let's see. I am at the beginning of a new journey. I know that much. So, alrighty, we'll start off then. You already read about the Fool. So let's take a look at Judgment and see what jumps out here. So, Judgment. Let's look at the open coffins and graves. And to me, they're like zombies. But anyway, so the open coffins and graves. No more black boxes. Okay, I know what they represent by that. Negative, the return of what was suppressed. And that too, what we suppress is sometimes something that we might need for healing too. So that's very interesting. They would put that as a negative. Certain desires or fears come again and again because they have been neither fulfilled nor resolved. So that's where the negative part comes. But in the positive aspect, deliverance, frankness, and mercy. When it comes to the blue-white mountains, nirvana or ice age, old wishes and fears find their resolution, the way into a new paradise or mastery over previously unsolved problems. So there's your aha moment. And yes, I love aha, and they're still releasing albums. Go check them out on iTunes. They're wonderful. Martin Harkett still has an amazing voice. Paul Wakar is a great songwriter, and I love that they're still together on and off all these years. So I digress. So this is basically an aha moment, that epiphany, and it's an inspiration to start a process of continual new beginnings and transformation. So transforming from one aspect of life into another. So this is basically for me too, like almost like another death card. So let's look at the Red Cross. That stands right out. The orange Red Cross. Like all cross symbols, a sign of the differentiation and of connection. The task of taking leave and separating on the one hand and reconciliation and unification on the other. So the equal arm cross representing reconciliation and unification. Let's look at the trumpet, with 7 stripes. The trumpet of the day of judgment awakens sleeping energies and brings the dead back to life. And I love this, Irene, because you said you're excited about something new. The Fool card, you're moving forward. You're like a renewed energy, and with this, you're being awakened. Sleeping energies, you're coming back to life. You're excited about moving forward. That spiritual, um, um, spiritual awakening, that enlightenment. So let's see what else is jumping out at me. Let's talk about the angel. All 7 figures in the picture could represent parts of you, including the angel. He stands for your power of motivation, waking up, and of transformation. He warns against airy, groundless beliefs. So, another interesting aspect. And Roman said, Heather, could you show the book title one more time? And there we go. The Ultimate Guide to the Rider-Waite Tarot by Johannes Feiberg, and Evelyn Berger. I wish some of the way, this is how they write on here. So it's really all very blocky, and some of it's like kind of staccato like, but we're working with it. We're getting there. So let's see. The nudity. A warning against shamelessness and crudeness. An encouragement to face up to the naked truth, openness, honesty, beauty, and truth, and not least eroticism and lust. So, interesting. Shamelessness. Now, we're shamed too much about our bodies in life. So, it's interesting. And we're all going to have little perspectives on this. The little white book print. The little white book print. You mean this deck? The little white book print. Oh, you're talking about the little white book print. Yeah. And I've got trifocals, and I'm still like, so I'm looking at the 6 people. Let's look at the numerology. This could be a family, a clan, or friends. And I know that you're going through things with family. So, again, having an idea, an epiphany, and an awakening of what you can do when it comes to family, friends, yourself, and that full energy is giving you that spontaneous, and giving you faith to take that jump to move forward. And it says here also, all 6 figures are a mirror that reflects one's own masculine, feminine, and childlike aspects, including the not so lovely ones. All this calls for clarification. So, on that note, for clarification, we dig into here, and what do we pull out? The 3 of Cups. I like this. Perfect. So, the Fool coming out again, the Judgment having that awakening, that epiphany. It says here, sins forgiven. So this also feels like forgiving and being able to move forward. And by doing that, you're opening yourself up to a brand new celebration. Now, I've read this in the book, and they talk about these being aspects, these 3 women as goddess aspects within ourselves. These could be, 3 women, or 3, doesn't have to be, women, because we have, the masculine and the feminine, each of us. But that celebration, we are connecting with ourselves on mind, body, and spirit. We're celebrating our emotional self, our emotional joys. To me, it's just a beautiful card of sharing. At the fruit, and at the bottom we have the fruits of the labors. We got the harvest, the pumpkins, I believe are the apples, so, and the wine. So it's a beautiful coming together of celebration. And if there's any forgiveness needed in there, with family, or moving forward with the Judgment, that's also there. But this is all leading to a time of just joyous celebration, with people that are close to you, that are part of your inner circle, and also celebrating you and your success and how far you have come. So I hope that y'all like this idea that I came up with tonight. I know it took a little longer to get through readings, but I think it's fascinating talking about symbols and then looking at them, on the cards and kind of picking them apart and seeing what jumps out, kind of like almost like a bibliomancy as well. And let me just jump up. Let's see. I'm at the beginning of a journey. I'm reevaluating everything. I need an aha moment. Haven't had one in a couple of years. And then there's the book title. Also interesting that you're pulling the beginning and almost the end. Beginning and the end. Yes, that's true. Very interesting. Yes. Again, Roman, I wasn't thinking about that because I was looking at the symbols and stuff. So yeah, with the judgment, we're almost at the end of, the cycle. And in this book, they actually do the full last. So you're having that spiritual awakening. Next card would be the world card where everything comes together. Um, you know, ending that cycle and finishing that journey that you were on. And then they put the fool at the end to insinuate that, just because the cycle, finished, there's another one that's always going to be starting again. So I like that. But thank you for pointing that out, Roman. Let's see. I tear my heart open. I see myself shut. My weakness is that I care too much. Bro, the scars remind us that the past is real. I tear my heart open just to feel. Wait a minute, who is that? Please do share. Thank you so much. You're welcome. Everybody, yes, thank you. It was very fun. Okay. I have to head out. Good night. Night, Tom. The live was fun. Okay, that's awesome. So yes, I have to stop shortly because I do have the free StreamYard, so I have to watch my time. But this was a lot of fun. My life ends around 60. I'm in my 60th year. Makes me wonder. Oh, your lifeline ends around 60. Oh, no, Irene, we don't want you going anywhere. Oh, a Papa Roach song. See, I was never into Papa Roach, but I love when music and lyrics take us back to a certain place and are able to help us heal. And one of my favorites is, do you know the power that you have with my tear in your hand? That was from Little Earthquakes from one of Tori's songs. Yeah. Christina, thank you, Heather, for the reading. I had a wonderful time. Great chat. That's awesome. Thank you, everybody, again for joining me. I wasn't sure how this was going to go, but I had a lot of fun. And thanks again to Gerald for popping in and joining the conversation on symbolism. And I will take notes and look forward to seeing who would be interested in doing some shows and bringing their favorite symbols or symbols they think they would like to discuss and share with everybody, and move forward with that. So a lot of new ideas for my channel coming up with my ancestral readings I did the other night, the symbolism. Um, I want to start doing maybe some past life or Akashic record like readings and seeing what I get with those. So um, totally enjoy this. Thank you again. Everybody are the best chatters. Please do remember, if you can, hit that like button and leave a comment whether or not you think this is, the readings from the book with the symbols was a good idea, not a good idea, or maybe how to tweak it, or what else that you would like to see discussed symbol wise moving forward. So thank you, everybody. And before we go, Irene shared. Then I had a reading with a message from my daughter who passed last year. Oh, honey. She said she was having fun and learning lots and couldn't wait to show me everything. Oh, I'm sorry for your loss, but that's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that with us. I appreciate that. And so, everybody, I hope you have a great weekend. Have fun. Stay cool if you can. We're going to be up in the hundreds again this weekend. So, um, we'll see you on Monday when Nancy and I return for our Sacred Feminine. So, everyone, have a good rest of your night, and we'll talk to you later. Bye. And thank you again.